Morning, girls. There are a couple of things I wanted to show you. Our apartment is getting renovated, and I have just put up these, I don't know if you can see, these flowers in the kitchen, because our kitchen was looking a little bit boring and I needed to spice it up a little bit. And there are a couple of other things happening. Our bathroom is getting completely renovated. Our counters are new, so they're looking really nice. And so the room is looking a little bit messy, but slowly things will start to get put together back up again. And that's my kitty Leo. Say hi, Leo. Say hi. Say hi, Bobby. Say hi, gentle warriors. Hi. Oh, he's really upset with me because we left him for so long. Here is Sunny. She's the most beautiful cat I've ever seen. Oh, Leo wants some more attention. Yeah. Say hi. Hi. Oi, he's getting really close. Say hi. Hi. Oi, you're so cute. You're so cute. Oi. Oi. Sunny looks especially beautiful in the sun. Now, sorry, totally bumped your guys' head. But I wanted to make this video because there have been a couple of things happening. So, a really close person in my life recently shared that she is undergoing a chronic issue diagnosis, and in order to keep her life private, like, I'm not going to share exactly what's going on, but I did want to say this. I feel like within the last years, my life has just gotten so, like, it almost feels like I've been having a calling to be able to help more people that have like chronic illness issues. And the story, and this is because so many people, so many of my loved ones are starting to experience these chronic illness issues. And the story usually goes something like either they, were overworked by the education system. They had so many things going on in their life. And they were like overworked in their homes. Like, usually, like, if my friends were like children, the oldest children within like several children of the family, they had to do a lot to be able to help their families out. So then they are overworking themselves, and then their body just forces them to stop. It like literally gives them these chronic illnesses to drop to their knees and be like, no, it is time for you to start resting. And then the other story is surrounded around trauma, right? Where there are unexpected life things that come up, different diagnoses from our family members, different things that happen to us as women, sexual harassment, and that type of stuff at different periods in our lifetime, kind of like my story, where we're not able to process things. And for so many people like myself, some of those memories are just so hard for us that we block them. But ultimately, the ultimate consequences of those traumatic experiences are that we have chronic illnesses. Well, I was thinking about it, and I was telling myself, Oh, this is a lot for me. I was telling myself, I feel like, this like rise of chronic illnesses is like God sending a message to us, kind of like in a hard but loving way, telling us that it is that we have done enough in life, that we need to start taking care of ourselves, because the systems in place, the government, the education system, welfare, they're just not going to be able to take care of us anymore. And we need to be able to take care of ourselves. And I think that God is literally like dropping us to our knees, telling us like something needs to change, something. So I wanted to share a little bit about how God actually called me to like heal my body and heal my relationship with Him. So I am currently 24 years old. I am the oldest of 8 siblings, and it's really funny. It's the cutest thing because we go girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, and so on. My mom is just really lucky that she like, I don't know, took us out in that pattern. But so as the oldest, and like some of my friends, like I was given a lot of responsibilities very young as a child. My parents didn't speak a lot of English, so I had to help them translate. Like I had really good like professional skills, like literally like out of the womb because like I had to like help translate. I was like had to make appointments. I had to like write, like school applications, and like job applications and all, medical stuff, like medical documents. And it was a lot as a child. I had to help my mom. My dad was always working. My mom had, at the time, she had my brother, my sister, and then she started having more children, so she just couldn't keep up with like the housework. And if you're a woman, that housework is like a whole entire job in itself. Like sometimes cooking for me can take up to 3 hours long, and then on top of that you have to sweep the floor, you have to mop the floor, you have to wash the counters, wash the kitchen, like declutter, and like take the kids to like medical appointments and take the kids to school, and then go shopping, and there's and make other appointments for other days, and there's just so much that you need to do. And congratulations to all women who are able to do it, because it is just so hard to do it, and especially it's so much harder when men aren't able to help you out as much because they are busy working and they're busy providing. So yeah, like my mom didn't have a lot of help around the house, and so I was she never forced me to like pick up like the slack of the masculine energy around the home, but I almost felt the need, because there was just so much going on for her that I really felt like I needed to help her out. So that started happening around when I was like 6-7 years old. And then around when I was 13 years old, I had a very traumatic experience with an older man that shouldn't have happened. And this was a trusted man, and I was never able to talk about this with anyone. My parents didn't know about what had happened. I think my friends at the time like suspected that something was going on, but I never really spoke to them about it until like freshman year in college, because throughout this entire time my body underwent amnesia. I literally forgot everything that happened. It just completely blocked out that experience. It blocked everything that had happened. And the only thing that I was able to recall were happy experiences with this adult man. And even today, like, it is still very hard for me to be able to like wish him bad, because the dynamic between this was such that like I looked up to this man as a mentor. This mentor, you know, so what I'm experiencing right now is kind of like a loss for words. So what this is indicating is that this is a lot for my body to speak about right now. So I'm just going to change gears a little bit. You'll need a little bit more water. I need to find the cap for this. Yeah, so I underwent a lot of amnesia. My body completely forgot about things, and throughout this entire time, in order to get to school, I just started drilling. You know, my masculine energy was so was just on steroids, where I was like, I went to an IB school and I was performing like at the top of my class. And I, every time when I would come home, I would just, rest in my bed for a little bit, and then I would just start drilling, and I wouldn't stop like drilling until it was like 3 a.m. At which point I would sleep for a couple of hours, and then I would be up by like 5 or 6 a.m. to help my siblings to help get my siblings ready for school and whatnot. And so I was just functioning at a level that no human being was ever made to function. Like fast track to my senior year, then I had IB exams going on. I had so many extracurricular activities. I was doing like yearbook editing. I was just involved in so many different things that like where I was in like managerial positions for all of them, that my body, like, I just was not sleeping well, I was not eating well, I was not taking good care of myself. And I think that in many cases most students are like, I'm gonna work my ass off so that I can go to a good college, so that I can have like good professional, have a good career. And I wanted to say that I wish that would have been the case for me, but the truth was that it wasn't. So I am a DACA student. I'm a DACA student, and I never I always knew that I wanted to be a doctor. I always knew that I wanted to help people out. I just didn't believe, I think I was just too scared by the system in place, by the government and the idea of being deported, that I never really thought or imagined that I could actually ever go to college, So while my friend, even though I was performing, as an A student, I never really like checked out like different universities. I didn't really care. Like I didn't even know about Ivy Leagues. Like I had a friend that was going to go to Yale, and I knew that that was going to be a big deal, but I couldn't tell you like what schools were Ivy Leagues at the time. And I like literally when I filled out my EC application just because our school advisor, Ms. Wilhite, like literally like gave me applications to fill out, and I was just a good student and I wanted to make her happy and I wanted to make like my teachers happy, so like I filled them out. But I'm not lying to you, when I filled out my EC application I was just like eeny meeny miny because you have like 6 places that like you can like choose, 6 or 8 places, I don't even remember anymore. And I like just knew that like I couldn't go to UCLA because LA was far and I wanted it to be close to my family. Anyways, like I tell you this because I literally like didn't think that like I wasn't overworking myself because I wanted to go to have a big career. Like I'm telling you this because I was overworking myself because my body was just so stressed out that it seemed like work was my coping mechanism. Like I was a workaholic, not because I enjoyed work, but because I was running away from all of these other things and I didn't even realize it at the time. Okay, so fast forward up to my freshman year in college. This was around when COVID started happening. I started pushing myself really hard in school. I did really well my freshman year here in college. And then sophomore year, my body started to break. And I literally mean it started to break. Like I was in a dorm with myself and another peer, and God bless her soul, because there were just so many times where so many scary things happened, and I felt so guilty that she had to like watch all of these things happen to me. Like I just felt so bad, and I think that this is something that a lot of people with chronic illnesses can definitely relate to, where we start experiencing things and we feel for our loved ones because we scare them, because well, not we, but like the conditions that are happening to us, they feel for us, right? So then they just start getting scared by the circumstances, and we start believing that it is our fault. But in reality, like it's not really our fault, right? It's just like the situation that is happening at the moment, and it's a scary situation. That doesn't mean that we are the cause of it. Well, my that peer, she saw me at nighttime. My body, whenever we sleep, we start to remember and process things during our sleep. And while I was processing all of the traumatic experiences that had happened, my body started doing things like punching and hitting the side of the wall, and my legs would just get very uneasy. They started like stomping on the bed, and poor thing, like I remember one time she woke me up because I experienced what to me it seemed like sleep paralysis, where I would like almost like feel like I wanted to wake up, but like nobody could, like I was stuck in my sleep, and like I would try to call for her and I would try to call for people to come help me out, but they couldn't really hear me. And I remember one time, this is a different experience, one time I woke up screaming because my arm hurt so bad. And when I woke up that day, my arm was limp. Like it literally like felt like there were like absolutely no muscles, no bones on it. Like I could just lift it and it would just drop. And the same thing happened to my leg. where I could not move it. Like I had no more strength in my body. And so then I am like, I really needed to go to the bathroom. I really needed to pee. And I could not get up. And so she, all I remember is that like, I was really scared of like peeing on my bed. And I was feeling really sad because I was like, geez, like I've never, had this situation. Like this is like a very upsetting situation. Like imagine like me actually peeing on my bed. Like that's very scary. And it felt really gross, and it's something that I had never experienced before. I waited until the health services opened, because I think when I woke up it was around like 4 a.m. So then I waited, and I waited until the health services opened, and I lived in Stern Hall. If anybody knows where Stern Hall is, and at Berkeley, like it is literally like, because it is literally like up a hill, and then there are so many stairs when you walk down. And there are so many stairs when you walk down, and I literally had to crawl myself down to be able to get out of the building. So up at the Student Health Services, I was told that my muscle was breaking down, but they didn't know why it was breaking down. And it wasn't sudden, so I think they ran a couple of tests like for autoimmune disorders, and nothing came up. They said that we were just gonna be watching our levels. But then around that time, a big family incidents happened, another life event happened. And I was forced to leave school and go back home to help take care of my family. So that obviously put a block between my time to receive medical help and because I had to go take care of my family. Well, my masculine energy came in so handy because I almost went, I was busy completing tasks, I was busy doing things and providing emotional support and, making decisions and planning things, and my body almost forgot, I completely forgot about my body, that my body had been screaming for help. And it's interesting because that was my first wake-up call, but then it almost seems like my body set aside its physical pain so that I could be able to handle this overwhelming family event. But as soon as that was a little bit more sorted out, I started to feel the effects of it again. And at that point, I had decided to do some therapy. It was talk therapy, and it didn't really work out for me very well. Well, my talk therapist, he was great. He was all right. He never left me. He was an older man, and the reason why I enjoyed talking to him so much, even though it wasn't as helpful as it could have been, was that he never let me leave the session crying. like, I remember there was once where I was just so sad and so overwhelmed, but he had to go on to his next session. And so he did. He went on to his next session. We wrapped things up, and after his next session, he literally called me back to make sure that I was all right, that I was okay, and I thought he was the sweetest man for that. Well, he always made me laugh so much throughout the session. So there was literally only one time where I left that session crying. But all throughout, like, it was just so easy to talk to him about like hard things, because he always said that if I had humor, I could literally get through anything. And well, yeah, I like took a break from therapy. And then I decided to go get a job, and that's actually another interesting story. Because at the time I started just feeling so like depressed and feeling like I started grieving my life, where I was just like, I used to be able to like, I don't know, like do so many projects and have so many things going on in my life, and at the time I just felt like I had nothing left for me. Like I just had all of like these issues, like I was becoming really forgetful. Like I couldn't even do simple calculations like 2 times 2, like 4 plus 4, like doing these arithmetic was just so hard for me. And then I like remember my dad was teaching me how to drive, and I couldn't even follow his directions. Like common sense was not common sense for me anymore. Well, yeah, I got a job in as a like unhoused service coordinator. It's kind of like the equivalent of a social worker without the social worker title. And doing that type of work was so fulfilling. I will have to tell you a little bit about that in another video. But this serves to say that when you help people out, even when you have your own issues out, it really helps you out more than it helps them out. Okay, so what was I going to say? Okay, so I remember now. So I was gonna go back to school, but before I went back to school, I had like 2 more weeks working at my job as a service coordinator. Well, those 2 weeks, my body, was giving up on me to the point where I couldn't walk anymore. I was starting to lose mobility. And because I really enjoyed the job that I was doing, because I really felt fulfilled by it, I like kept showing up to work. And besides, it was my last 2 weeks there. I went to work using a stick, like a stick that my boss had carved out to use as a walking stick. I was using a walking stick, and at the time I was only 23, and I remember one of the he was kind of like, he like oversaw these like psychiatric facilities, and I worked with him, and his name was Randy, and he like came to see me because he was like, so I heard you're walking with a walking stick. And then he said, you should be walking with a walking stick. Geez, like you're much older than I am. And this guy is like in his 60s. And I started laughing, but it like hurt me because I was like, geez, like, it made me feel like like, you know, like, it made me realize that there was something wrong with me that, like, normally, like, wouldn't be happening to the average 23-year-old, you know? So I knew that something was wrong. Well, I left that job and came back to Berkeley to start my summer school. I was taking physics at the time, and I started breaking down. Like, my body started breaking down. Like, it has never broken down like this before. Let's see. I was unable to get out of bed. Like, I was literally, like, bed struck. Like, I took the physics. I think it was for about like 3 or 4 months, but my baby sister had to come and hold me from my hand to take my last midterm, because I literally could not walk myself there. And I had the best GSI at the time. Like, my GSI, like, she let me do like labs online, and my professor was like really accommodating. He was like the best professor I felt that has been accommodating to me after having received my fibro diagnosis. And yeah, just God bless him, he was so great. I was able to finish physics, but that summer my body literally broke down to the point where it's like my roommate, who now is William had to help me get into the shower. He had to take me out of the shower. He had to make me food. I was very lucky that my girlfriends, Sarah and Quinn, lived across the street from me, so they were able to come help me out, help me get into the shower, help me take me to the bathroom, help cook for me. Girls, I felt so helpless, because I've always been one to give help, but never to receive. And it wasn't even that receiving was uncomfortable, although it was mostly that I couldn't believe that someone who was so ambitious, someone that was so, you know, who took pride in doing things efficiently and in a super productive manner, I couldn't believe someone like that was like at the mercy of somebody else to take them to the bathroom so that I wouldn't have to, you know, be flooding in you know, like in my own waste inside of my bedroom. So needless to say, it was very, very hard. Like, I had to learn how to walk all over again, and it took me, I tried to go back to school that semester, because being me, as soon as I get a little bit better, I push myself and tell myself I can do this back again. Well, I could not. I went back to school, and I ended up doing a medical withdrawal because December of that year, then I started having seizures. I started having psychogenic seizures. And that was traumatic in itself. Like, my William took me to the hospital. My boss girlfriend Yuki, she came down. She was working in SF. She left her job and came down to Berkeley to the hospital to come find me. And it was just, had absolutely no idea what was going on. It was so chaotic. The nurses were yelling at me and telling me to like to get myself together, that like I was going to be all right, and to forcing me to take medicine when my body generally could not function. It's like the worst medical experience I've ever had, and I've had several. And I can't even remember what machine it's called, but you know, the one that makes the noise like beep 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 beep, that was going off like crazy. And then once I finally got like inside of the room, when I was in the room, the machine started going crazy. They gave me extremely different medication to like calm me down, and basically they were just like, this is a psychogenic seizure. you have to, you have to do like more work with your like therapist. You have to see like a psychiatrist to be able to receive the help that you need, because this isn't something that like is, like your like therapist. You have to see like a psychiatrist to be able to receive the help that you need, because this isn't something that like is, like like there's no like biochemical reactions that are happening in your brain to be able to like there's nothing wrong with like your, what am I trying to say? Like, I can't explain this correctly. Like, there are no like biochemical reactions that are happening. There are no biological reasons as to why like you are having the seizures. They're not epileptic seizures. It's more so like your body is so overwhelmed and stressed out that the only way it knows how to respond is by undergoing these psychogenic seizures. And we'll talk about this later, but even the psychogenic seizures in itself were very therapeutic for me afterwards. But in the beginning, they were very, very scary. So I went back home, and even afterwards, I was still trying to go to school. This was before my medical withdrawal. I had the psychogenic seizures, and I was hospitalized in December 17, and then around February 7th was when I stopped going to school, like at all. Like I stopped going to school. So that was still like a month and a half of me trying to like continue school. And this is one of my favorite memories now. I think it's so silly every time I go back to think about it, but I was trying to study for an exam, and I was like reading my textbook on my computer, because lying my computer on my legs hurt me so much. I could not stand it. So I was like holding my computer on my hands like this, and I was shaking, and I was trying to read. I couldn't even read the letters because they were like moving, and my computer was shaking. And William turns around, and he was like, "What are you doing?" Like, he was like, "You must think so highly of yourself to think that like, that you are above what like God is trying to command you to do, and push yourself so hard that you have to be the best, and that like you're willing to put yourself to like continue to push yourself and move forward, even though your body is like collapsing and telling you we cannot do this anymore." And at the time when he told me that, I was so angry at him, because I was like, first of all, you are white. You come from a privileged family. You have absolutely no idea. Like, I have no choice. Like, I have to continue to go to school, and I have to continue to study, and I have to continue to get the good grades that I am getting, because my family depends on it, because I have to set the example for my seven other siblings, because I need to be the rose that cracks from the garden. And because I am from the city of Stockton, where like it's known for a great amount of violence, where nobody expects anybody to like come out of there. And I was realizing that like, I was putting a lot of external pressures like that literally no one was actually putting on me, but that I was putting on myself. I remember talking to my mom about this way afterwards, and my mom was like, if you don't want to go to school, she was telling me like, if you don't want to finish college, like don't do it. Like, it's completely fine. Like, we know who you are. We know that you're going to do great. Like, and regardless of anything you want to do, like, you don't have to do it. And then afterwards, after William became my partner, he told me, he was like, "Babe, like, like you don't have to go back to school. Like, you can just take care of yourself, and just like continue to like do fun things that make you happy. Like, I will take care of you. Like, there's no reason for you to have to go back to school if you don't want to anymore. Like, don't feel like you're doing this out of survival." But that's just the thing, that had been working so hard because I was in this survival mindset of like one, you know, trying to run away from all of the things in the past events that had happened to me, but also, you know, like, I knew that, like, my family was just so full of, like, so many, like, children and so many of my siblings that, like, there was no space for me back at home anymore. And so I, like, was trying to, and I knew for me the only two options that existed was, like, either go to school and get a good job so that you can have your own home and your own space, or, like, marry into, like, you know, like, marry a husband that is going to be able to take care of you. And at the time, I just, like, I just did not want to even think about that, because, like, I had up to this point so many, like, bad experiences with, like, older men that I didn't even seek, but that just somehow I attracted. And they, you know, like, I just, like, I could not see myself, like, I was 23 and I had already received so many different marriage proposals, and these were older, like, creepy men. And sure, some of them might not have been creepy, but still, it just did not feel right. For background context, like, in most of Hispanic cultures, they expect you to marry very young. My mom, she was 19 when she married, and you could say that she was, like, she calls herself, like, the runt of her litter, because, like, most women marry when they're 13, anywhere between 13 to 15, and they will tell you that if you are older than 19, then nobody's going to want you. So the first man that comes to your life, that's the man at that age that you're, like, supposed to marry, even if they're older, even if, like, you know, like, you don't really, like, love them, because you don't want to be in a place where you're not going to be able to, like, live by yourself and, like, not be able to take care of yourself. So I kept twitching myself, and all of these thoughts were coming into my head, like, you know, when William had told me that, I was like, you're a man, you're privileged, you're white. And it took me a lot of, like, therapy to, like, finally, like, realize, you know, that God was trying to tell me that it was my time to actually, you know, like, hold on to him and trust that everything was going to be okay, and that I didn't have to continue to work so hard to take care of myself and to take care of everybody else that I had been taking care of. And I think that I didn't really understand that message until he literally broke me down to teach me how to let William and my friends take care of myself. And I really had to, like, see that so that I could understand that message. And it was very, very hard to receive help, because, one, as the eldest, you know, and doing as many tasks as I could, I was super hyper independent. But all of this to say is that there have been a lot of chronic issues that I have seen coming to rise. A lot of different people, a lot of my loved ones are starting to have chronic issues. And it is both scary, but, you know, and some of them are a whole lot more worse than the experiences that I have. And some of them are so deleterious that they can lead to having death sentences. And my heart goes to all of those people. But I really, really believe and really, really think that all of this is a message, you know, from God telling us that we need to stop thinking that we can solve all of our problems, that we have been working by ourselves for so long, and now he just wants to take care of us. Now he just wants us to learn and let the world and strangers take care of us, because we have been working too hard for too long. a lot of the weights and a lot of the burdens that we have been carrying weren't meant for us to carry. And now it is time for us to rest and to heal our bodies. And it's not going to be easy, but we really have to take the time to do it so that, you know, we can recover our lives. And I truly believe that no matter how hard, you know, like even if it is a death sentence, there is nothing that our superpower can't undo. You know, if it's in his will, like I totally believe that he can reverse the diagnosis and that we can heal. He's calling us and he's pulling our ear and he's like, hey, like if you don't listen, like this is, your body is just going to continue collapsing until you do, because I've tried everything. Like I've tried having people come and talk to you, I've gotten you fired from your job, like, you know, like you are doing poorly in school now, or, you know, like he's literally like letting us like lose everything. Like I had to quit school, which was like really important to me, and it you know, it's a lot of my identity had been around being a good student, and that completely shambled. But he did that with the intention of teaching me that there's more to that, that in the end, the only thing that really matters is my health and my physical, my mental health, and then I really needed to take care of myself and let others take care of me. And I have undergone this great healing journey now, and I'd love to be able to share everything that I have done to be able to help it. But it really all starts with letting yourself take care of you and letting others take care of you.